Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to my Dune Awakening survival game content. So this is going to be a different one for me, folks. If you're one of my normal subscribers, you're not used to seeing me make content on games like this. You do see me make content on Ark Survival Ascended quite a bit. So that is something of the same vein as Dune Awakening, but I have recently decided to give this game a shot. I like what I'm seeing, and I want to talk to you today about 3 critical mistakes to avoid when you're setting foot into the desert in Dune Awakening. These are going to be things that new players need to know, old players need to know, survival game experienced players will need to know, because Dune Awakening is categorized as an MMO, which means massively multiplayer online game, and it is more, in my opinion, similar to a survival type game like Ark Survival Ascended, for example. I just need to preface this video by saying that a lot of my experiences in the survival game genre are going to come from Ark Survival Ascended, because if you've watched my channel over the years, you know that I've been playing that game for almost 10 years now, and a lot of the content I make is on that. And that is where I cut my teeth in the survival game genre. And one of the reasons why, when I look at Dune Awakening, I feel kind of excited and very interested for the things that I'm seeing in this game as well. And I want to be able to help you as a new survivor in Arrakis to understand 3 of the major mistakes you need to avoid in this style of game, because a lot of people are going to be coming at this game thinking it's an MMO and an MMORPG, and they're not really going to understand the survival aspects of the game, because in this game it's going to be a harsh environment that's going to constantly wear and tear on your character, and it's going to cause you to die frequently. So just get ready for that. You know, there are lots of situations where the environment's going to kill you, other players are going to kill you, the monsters in the realm, like a sandworm, is going to kill you, and you're going to have to recover from that and find a way to recover and become relevant in the space. It doesn't matter if you are someone that wants to play in a group or in a guild or solo. There's going to be those play styles for everyone, so figuring out a way to survive and fill your role is going to be very, very important. So one of the #1 mistakes to avoid in a game like this is the starter area, and that's building like crazy in the starter areas and overdoing it in the starter areas and not branching out into other content and then realizing later that you made a mistake. Games like this are designed to start you off in a starter zone, and for this game that's going to be Haga Basin in whatever instance of that server you're in, and they are designed to get your feet wet, let you do the tutorials, let you understand the world a little bit, and then to start to branch out into other areas where the content is a little harder, the survival's a lot tougher. You start to level up your character, learn other recipes, learn other schematics, learn other technologies, and you advance and grow, whether it's in your ability to do battle or your ability to build or your ability to craft or just survive or anything. The games are designed to send you out into that space and allow you to spread your wings. So starting at the starting area and just going ham and going crazy and overbuilding in those areas is not advisable, because what you will end up doing, and hang on one second, And sorry about that. I thought I had it on loop that whole time. And if we had some commercials pop up, and I don't want that. I want you to be able to see the realm while we're talking. But anyway, what you'll end up doing is you will waste a lot of resources, and then, like in Ark Survival Ascended, you start off knowing how to build in a type of resource called thatch, and you build your base in thatch, and you quickly realize that you need to level it up, build into a higher tier of material so that your base is stronger, lasts longer, can take more damage, decay from the environment, or whatever it is. And you quickly realize that all those resources that you put into building that base in thatch are now wasted, because to replace those walls, ceilings, floors, pillars, whatever, you will have to replace them, and then you lose the resources and the effort that you spent building it in the first place. So it's advisable at the start to build a forward operating base. Build something small but efficient. That way you can have all the resources and the storage and the crafting stations that you need at hand to be able to start to get your feet wet in the game and then explore other areas. And then you will invariably realize that as you progress deeper into the game, you will find those spawns of rarer resources that are much more critical than where you started out, and you'll invariably want to move and to these better locations so that you can have access to these better resources. It's just a natural progression in these kind of games. So going crazy, going ham at the start in the starter area is just a waste of effort and a waste of time, and you will understand that as you play longer once you start to explore. So wasting too much time and resources trying to build that humongous 15 level castle in the starter area is not really the smartest thing to do. So that's one of the traps that people will fall into, and that's the number one point, is building like crazy in the starter zone. That leads us to the next thing, which is when you are building, you have to keep in mind that this is a survival game, which means you will die. Okay, there are going to be times when the environment kills you. There are going to be times when the other players kill you. There's going to be times when the animals in the desert, the sandworms and things of that nature, are going to take you out. And the next critical mistake to avoid is not having a respawn point in place as soon as possible. In this game, I'm not sure what it's going to be, whether it's going to be like a bed that you put down that you can respawn at, or if it's going to be some kind of station at a crafting type location where you respawn your genes. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know that that's actually been revealed yet to anybody other than beta testers, but there's going to be some sort of mechanic that will allow you to, when you die, respawn somewhere else, whether it's through respawn zones on the map that you pick because you don't have a respawn point put down, or if you have a bed or whatever it's going to be put down, then you're going to have a respawn point, and that's going to be critically important because you will die and you will lose your stuff. And if you die to a method that allows you to then go back to your corpse and collect your loot, you want it to be close to the area that you're adventuring in at the time, trying to get your feet wet exploring, gathering resources. You don't want to have to respawn into the map at a random location, which could be half a world across from where you were actually at, and now you have no way to really get back to your body and you lose your gear. If you have a respawn point put down, then you can actually spawn close by where you were adventuring at the start, and you can collect your gear and come back, unless and you can recover from that, unless you were to die through being ingested by a sandworm, and then you're just screwed, because in this game the one thing that's a complete wipe would be either PvP or a sandworm. If a sandworm eats you, you lose everything. If a PvP player kills you, you more than likely are going to lose everything, depending on the loot rules that are in place, depending on whether they can take all your gear or what. But even if they can't take all your gear, they're more than likely going to be corpse camping you, and if you do try to come back to collect your gear, they're going to get you again. So you might as well just figure that anytime you venture into a PvP area, everything you have on you is as good as gone. If you go into it with that kind of mentality, then you'll be okay. But the critical point here that I'm trying to get across is that that respawn point is of utmost importance. You need to have that put down before you worry about anything else. Build you a little starter base, yes, but focus on that respawn point. Get that done and over with right away, so that every single time the environment kills you or whatever, you're able to recover from that loss without losing a bunch of resources. Because if you go into a game like this thinking that this is a MMORPG and you're just going to run around and do quests and everything's going to be sparkly and flowers and ponies, you're going to be awakened really fast to understand that this is going to be a hardcore, more of a hardcore experience, because this is more in line of a survival game. And Funcom understands how to make a survival game because they are the makers of Conan Exiles, and that's a game where the survival mechanics are pretty hardcore, just like in Ark Survival Ascended or Ark Survival Evolved as well. So you're going to need to get into that mindset and think of this game as more of a survival game, honestly, and you will be better off. Now, the last point that you need to understand is one of the critical mistakes that a lot of players in games like this will make will be overloading themselves with their inventory. Okay, so if you're someone that wants to just run around and collect everything they can find, and then whoops, you find yourself overloaded, and there's going to be some kind of mechanic in this game, whether it's a weight carry limit restriction or a level gated type of restriction that can control how much you can have in your inventory, or bag space, you know, as far as quality of tiers of bags or something like that. I'm not really sure how it's going to work yet, but there will be some sort of limitation that controls your inventory space on your character. You will not be allowed to carry the world on yourself without any kind of repercussions, because it will either slow you down, or it will make you unable to move, or you will just get overloaded to the point that it affects your health or something. And what that's going to do in a survival game like this is that's going to get you killed. The environment's going to be hot and harsh and arid and dry, and you're going to be constantly needing water. And if you can't move to move around because you have 10 million stone in your granite in your inventory, and you're scared to drop a stack so that you can move, well, guess what? You just lost. You're going to die, and a lot of times you may lose everything because you may not, for whatever reason, be able to get back to your corpse. You may be so slow that you can't get off the sand and get away from that sandworm, and then you get ate, and then you're dead and you've lost all your stuff. So overloading your inventory is one of the worst mistakes that a new player can make, especially at the start. It's so fresh and exciting, and we're running around picking up every little stick and twig and rock and fiber, and we quickly find ourselves overloaded. So one of the mindsets that you have to keep in mind when you're first starting out and you're trying to get established is that you need to go out and gather resources and make yourself come back to your base on a regular basis. Make yourself come back and dump your inventory into a secure storage location and then go back out. And what that's going to do is that's going to make you so much more efficient. Well, a lot of people say, but I want to stay out there and explore for hours on end without ever coming back to my base. It's a hassle to have to run back to my base over and over and over. Well, let me tell you the truth. It's going to be more of a hassle to fill up your inventory and lose it every 15 minutes and start from scratch every 15 minutes than it is for the hassle to have to run back to your base, dump all your resources into a secure storage location, and then go back out. Because what you're doing there is you're being efficient and you're allowing yourself to build up your wealth to then either be able to craft all the stuff you want to craft or play the market, because there will be an auction house in this game, and as a solo or group-minded player, you will have the ability to take those resources and then put them on the auction house to hopefully amass your fortune. But you cannot amass your fortune if you're constantly losing your fortune. So that's one of the key things that you need to understand if you're not familiar with the survival resource gathering type mechanics, is that you need to secure storage so that you can hang on to the items that you do choose. Now, keep in mind that I'm not really sure how the PvP versus PvE base building storage type mechanic is going to work, but there are going to be times when you can build in PvP zones. Just be aware that those locations may not be safe as far as other players being able to take your gear, or the environment degrading your buildings and causing them to, decay and destroy. But just keep that in mind as well. But at the start, these are the 3 mistakes to avoid at the start. So this is going to be more focused around making sure that you constantly dump your inventory off in your secure storage locations so you don't lose things. So keep these 3 tips, 3 critical mistakes to avoid in Dune Awakening in mind. Don't go crazy building in the starting area at the start. This is not Minecraft, guys. This is a harsh survival zone atmosphere. Number 2, don't forget about your respawn point. That's one of your most critical things you can do at the start, is secure yourself a secure, for sure way to respawn in game so that you can get back to your corpse and get your gear when you die, because you will die. And then don't try to be that person that carries the world on their back. Be of a mindset that you go out, gather, you come back, you put it away safely, you go out and gather again. Don't be that person that's running around trying to carry the world in your inventory, because that will get you and you will lose it all the time. And then you'll just set yourself back over and over and over while others are progressing. You're falling behind, and you'll understand that that was a critical mistake that you could have avoided. So I hope this information helps you get prepared for your adventure in Dune Arrakis. I hope to see you there, and good luck. If you've enjoyed this content or it's taught you anything, please consider subscribing and sharing it around so that my content can reach a bigger audience, and that would help me out, and I'd greatly appreciate it. And it would also help grow the community so that we can have more people to interact with in game, because more of the word that we get out helps grow that base. So we appreciate it, and I will talk to you again soon in a video about Dune Arrakis coming soon. Peace.